Welcome back. Today I am making chapstick. I haven't made chapstick before. I've made lip gloss and I've made salve, and it's basically that. So I'm gonna try it. I got a little handy dandy set to try and use. I've had this olive oil with chamomile and lemon thyme infusing on my counter for 3 weeks to a month at this point. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we are gonna drain this out so that way we can get all of that oil. And I want to have a half a cup of infused olive oil. Just going to get in there with my hands. Now, I did use dried herbs because when I tried to use fresh, they weren't submerged all the way and they got moldy, and that felt wasteful. So I'm using dry herbs. Oh, nowhere clear. Half a cup. Now, chamomile is really good for skincare products because it's a very soothing herb. That's why I applied it with the lemon thyme. Thyme is a really great antimicrobial. So, like, it'd probably be good, like, if you're irritated or maybe you have cold sores or something like that. I just thought they sounded good together. And then I'm going to put a little aloe in there and some lemon essential oil. And just a touch of honey too, so that way it has a hint of sweetness. So I'm just going to squeeze these herbs. That helps. All right, I think that's about all I'm going to get. Side note, I made lemongrass tea on the last video of some lemongrass that I harvested for hot sauce, and I just used the tops and I infused them in water and I let them actually sit most of the afternoon. Lemongrass tea is a revelation to me. It's delicious. So, and I can't believe it because I've had lemongrass plants for the last couple of summers. This year I have 4 plants. So I'm very excited. Now I definitely know with the tops I can make tea throughout the winter. But I also brewed some mint tea and I mixed about 2/3 lemongrass to a third mint tea. It's incredibly refreshing. We're in Ohio in August. It's hot and disgusting outside. I don't even want to go outside for these, next couple months through probably about for this next month through mid-September. All right, back to chapstick. I'm going to heat up this water. I'm just transferring this to another beaker. Got to get out of the habit of using my kitchen equipment to make these things. A lot of times it's fine, like if it's just vinegar or oil or something like that. But once you start messing around with the beeswax, it can just be hard to get off. And while it's cosmetic grade, it's organic beeswax, but still, better to be safe than sorry. All right, this water is coming up to a boil. I'm going to put my oil in, kind of like a double boiler effect. It's my glass stirring stick. Good catch, though. All right, 2 tablespoons of beeswax. I am going to do the full 2 tablespoons. The lip gloss that I made maybe needed just a little bit more. And since I'm putting this in these tubes, I really need them to be solid. And now we just stir until the beeswax is fully melted. All right, so I've just been standing here stirring as the beeswax melts. I did measure out 1 teaspoon of aloe that I'm going to add in once we have fully integrated the beeswax into the olive oil. I think this water is hot enough, so I'm just going to turn the heat off the water. I'm almost right there. So while I'm waiting for that last bit of carryover heat, I'm going to grab a plate that I put in the freezer. To be honest, I just remembered to do this about 2 minutes ago. You're supposed to do it at the beginning so that way it's cold, kind of like you do with jam. I'm just going to let a couple drops on here. And it was already starting to harden up a little bit, so I'm just going to set it in the freezer for about a minute or 2, and then I'm going to check and make sure that I like the consistency. All right, so I just pulled it out of the freezer, and that texture is perfect. It's fully solid, but once you get it to your body heat, it spreads really nicely. All right, so I'm taking this out. I did add in that 1 teaspoon of aloe vera gel while I was waiting for the dollop to harden. Now I'm going to add just a couple drops of this lemon essential oil. I did 3 drops. I forgot the honey. That's okay. The heat's off. I'm just gonna do a little squeeze. Honey. Oh yeah, that has a really nice texture to it. Now, since I added that extra stuff to it, I'm gonna do another quick test on the plate. It still has a really nice texture. I just wanted to make sure that the aloe and the honey wouldn't make it too watery. All right, now we pour. I'm making a mess. Oh, jeez. Wow, that makes a lot. I've got 10 tubes here, and I'm going to pull another 10. I'll start with 5. All right, 5 more. I think my aloe settled to the bottom. I'm gonna do this again. The texture is perfect. I feel like I could have put more lemon, but I know that for next time. I love making stuff that I can give to friends as gifts, stuff that I can use, using ingredients that you would find in a kitchen and that you can easily have in your household. I just made 22 chapsticks with a half a cup of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of beeswax, aloe vera gel that most households have, or you can get very inexpensively at any local pharmacy, and just a little essential oil and herbs that I grew in my yard. You go to the store, you're easily going to pay $3 or $4 for one of those chapsticks. Alright guys, all done. They're finished and labeled. I have to test one. Alright. Yep, it works. We've got 22 little chapsticks. Fun. Alright guys, we're officially on watch. I think this should be able to be pulled in the next couple of days, hopefully. Alright guys, I am gonna pull this last zucchini here. Look at this one. I let this go a little longer than I had. And now I'm gonna just pull that plant out. I do have some carrots growing. I'm gonna wait a little bit to thin those out. Grab a little bit more of this tarragon to dry out. My onions are starting to flop over. So I'm going to pull these. Some of them aren't quite as big as I hoped for, but all right. I don't think I planted them deep enough, but I'm going to set them in the greenhouse to let them cure for a couple of days, and then I'll move them to the shed. This bean is looking not very healthy, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And I'm going to cut some of the stevia off and dry it. Looks like this will be a good node here. These guys out, get some sun today. All right, I want to talk about pears. We have 3 pear trees, a tiny little tree down at the end. We have this tree. For some reason, the birds and squirrels eat these pears first. Our theory is maybe they're sweeter, so we have never gotten any pears off of this tree. This is our 3rd pear tree, and it's laden. The branches are heavy, the pears are growing. Last year was the first year that we got some pears, and I was able to make pear butter out of them because they were really grainy. So we're hoping just that now we're taking better care of these trees, that the quality of pear is a little bit better. So stay tuned for pear harvest. Thank you so much for joining me for another week. I'd really appreciate it if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you have anything that you'd like to see on the channel or you have any questions about me, please feel free to put those in the comments. And I will see you next week.